Do you really think domestic violence ends when a survivor leaves the relationship? For many survivors, that's just the beginning of a different kind of abuse. Hello and welcome back to Black Sheep Diaries, the place where the black sheep finally get the mic. We're talking about family court, survival, and the truth behind the system. I hate to say it, but unfortunately, this different kind of abuse, it's quiet, it's legal, and it's happening inside of our courtrooms. It's called abusive litigation, and it's a form of stalking. One state, just one, has passed a law to stop it, and every other state needs to get out of the dark ages to catch up. When survivors leave an abusive relationship, many of them hope and are confident that the court system is going to be a place of justice and safety for them. But abusers often use the legal system itself as a weapon. They file baseless lawsuits, motions, custody claims, and subpoenas. Not because they actually care about justice or even their own children, but they do it to force contact, to continue the control, and to punish. It's a tactic they use called abusive litigation, and some advocates are now calling it stalking by way of court. The UCLA Journal of Gender and Law published a brilliant piece by Anna McLemore, who is a case editor and holds a law degree. In her fabulous piece, which we have linked below, Anna introduces us to Stacy Jones, a Tennessee woman who divorced her husband, Fred Wortman III. Fred tried to kill her 3 times. First, he poisoned her toothpaste. Next, he tried to hire a hitman that ended up being an undercover agent. Finally, from prison, he offered another inmate his championship football ring if he would finish the job on his ex-wife. He's serving a 30-year sentence. But even from prison, he was still able to file motions against his ex-wife. He tried to force his kids to come visit him behind bars. He demanded access to their school records, medical records, and even their personal information. Stacy had spent over $100,000 defending herself in court to a man that was behind bars. And every time she gets dragged back to court, she had to relive that trauma. She had to sit with him in the courtroom. She was forced to face her attempted murder time and time again. All because the court system allowed it, and because he found the loopholes within the family court system. And as unfortunate as it is, Stacy's case isn't rare. Across the US, survivors are dragged into court again and again and again, not to solve real disputes, but to be controlled, humiliated, and drained financially. Let's use some common sense to think about this. If an abuser can no longer call you, text you, or show up at your house whenever they choose, the courtroom still gives them access to you and they know it. The courtroom is the last place they can force you to be in the same room with them. And it's legal. One survivor said, "The only power he had over me was to keep me in the courtroom." Well, in 2018, one of our states said enough. Tennessee passed a law, and it's the first one of its kind. It's called Abusive Civil Action law, and it's the only one like it in the entire country. This groundbreaking new law has a fitting nickname as well: stalking by way of court. In a nutshell, here's what it does. And we will be covering more videos on this because there's a lot to go over, and it's really important that the other 49 states get on board with it. Here's what it says. If someone files repeated meritless lawsuits to harass someone they had an intimate relationship with, a judge can hold a special hearing. If the judge finds the intent was harassment, not justice, the court can do several things. It can dismiss the case, it can order the abusive filer to pay the victim's legal fees, and most importantly, the judge can place a pre-filing restriction on the abusive litigant. This means that for the next 4 to 6 years, an abuser cannot file any lawsuit against the victim unless they get advanced permission from the judge. This incredible new law flips the power dynamic because we all know abuse is about power and control. Tennessee recognized this, and they put an end to the legal harassment. The burden is finally on the abuser to prove that the case actually has merit before they are allowed to once again drag the survivor back to court. Now, you might be thinking, don't courts have ways to deal with bogus lawsuits already? Yes and no, sort of. In civil court, judges can issue sanctions under something called Rule 11. Rule 11 refers to provisions in the federal rules of civil procedure. It says the lawyers or anyone representing themselves cannot file cases just to harass. But there's a big problem with Rule 11. These rules were not designed with domestic violence in mind. They're limited, especially when it comes to family court. Most judges are hesitant to use them. Survivors Survivors have to prove bad faith, which can be hard. And sanctions, when they do happen, usually come after the damage is done. Thousands and thousands of dollars have already been spent, as well as years and years of stress. But this Tennessee law is different. It's proactive. It's not reactive. It's built specifically for survivors of abuse. It creates a legal firewall between them and their abuser. Let's be clear. Abusive litigation is a form of legal stalking. It exploits a system designed to protect rights, and it's twisted into a tool for control. And yet, Tennessee is still the only state with a law that's this specific and this powerful. 49 other states? Survivors are still on their own? This is the part where we have to ask, why doesn't your state have this new law? Why doesn't my state have this new law? Why aren't we protecting survivors after they leave? This isn't just an isolated Tennessee issue. It's happening in every courtroom in every state throughout the entire country. If we don't fix it, survivors will keep being dragged back into the lives of the very people they risked everything to escape from. It's time for lawmakers, advocates, and courts around the country to say no more. Justice should never be used as a weapon. What are your thoughts on abusive civil action? Would you like to see this law passed in your state? Comment below and let us know if your state is working on any type of legislation that even resembles abusive civil action. Be sure to subscribe so you won't miss part 2 of this incredible new law. And remember, Black Sheep Diaries is your platform too. If you've been through the family court system and you would like to speak out, reach out. This is a space for all of us who were never meant to stay quiet.